Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to episode 19 of the Tim Tebow Dynasty. In this episode, we'll be doing the off-season between Season 1 and Season 2, covering who the team drafts, who the team signs in free agency, and our overall roster heading into our second season. So to kick things off, it looks like we lost our starting center, Jabbar Gaffney, at wide receiver, and our starting middle linebacker, Tico Spikes, to retirement. And then our GMs made a couple signings for defense, but nothing really for offense. Looks like we're going to be running with the same pieces as of right now for offense that we did last year, besides the loss of Gaffney.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Alright, so for the NFL drafts, we're really just going to be covering who our team drafts, because I'm not really too concerned about what the other teams do, because it's really just about me and my team. And it looks like with the 25th pick in the first round, our GM decided to go with an offensive lineman, left guard. Hopefully that helps us improve the amount of sacks we gave up last year. We set a league record, so hopefully with an improved offensive line, gives me more time to pass, hopefully get rid of the ball quicker, not take as many sacks.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Alright, so as our second round pick, looks like the GM went with the defensive end. Maybe he's a starter. I don't really know. I don't pay much attention to who's on our defense.
Showed superstar ability in his first two college seasons, prompting the media to beg for a lift on the ban on players having to wait until after their junior season to go pro. But in his third season, the speedy Croker really struggled to play up to the standard he set in his first two seasons, prompting a lot.
Alright, so it looks like our GM traded away our third round pick this year. Don't really know what we got back, but let's move on to our next round.
While this team bought into some of the hype, they know Croker was a project they hope to build into a serviceable starter. It'll be interesting to see how he pans out long term.
The Eagles are now on.
All right, so it looks like we drafted a middle linebacker in the fourth round to replace the middle linebacker Spikes that retired. And once the draft is done, I'm going to go and see the rookie signings, and we'll be able to see if these players are any good, if they're all garbage. We'll get to see their overall ratings. And we grabbed a defensive tackle with our 16th pick in the fifth round.
Will he ever contribute as a receiver in the NFL? Only time will tell. Until then, this team has solved its return problems for the next few years.
Hey, Adam, what more can you tell us about this player?
When it came to game-changing defensive player conversations this college season, one name kept popping up. Mississippi Valley State defensive end.
All right, was our second pick in the fifth round. We grabbed a wide receiver. Looks like a white guy, probably about 6 foot. I can't really tell until after the draft is done, and then I get to look at the picks. So maybe he'll come in handy. Maybe he's garbage. I don't know yet.
Bronson's ability to bully right tackles wasn't enough to keep him on a lot of draft boards after some former teammates threw him under the bus in a February interview. Still, while so many...
All right, so right now the only tight end on our roster is Mercedes Lewis. We just drafted a tight end in the sixth round. Hopefully this guy's decent. Hopefully he can block. That'd be great.
Electrify fans with huge plays. Just when things seemed to be working out, torn shoulder labrum brought him back to earth. He was completely healed by the offseason.
All right, so it looks like we grabbed a backup left tackle with our seventh round pick, our last pick of the draft. So in a second, we'll get to look at how everybody rates overall, and probably depending on how good they are, would affect how they are in the depth chart. All right, so it looks like our first 2 picks, the left guard and our defensive end, will be immediate starters, with both being in the 80s. So those are pretty good picks. The rest of the picks, not so much. That tight end wasn't as good as I hoped. I was hoping we would get like at least a 69, maybe a 70 overall for a tight end. But a 58 is garbage. I hope he doesn't even make the team. All right, so right now, before preseason at least, the only quarterbacks on the team are me and Blaine Gabbert. And it looks like we're bringing back 3 of the same running backs from last year. The only addition was our 1-year contract signing of Jay Stewart. We signed a new fullback, but I don't really hand it off to the fullback. I might use him for blocking mostly and receiving once in a while, but we got a new fullback. And at 70 overall, the rookie is the only wide receiver we brought in, Zach Merrily. So he's our bottom receiver. With unless injuries happen, he might get into the game. Most likely not. And for tight end in our offensive line, it looks like the only new starter is going to be that first-round pick at left guard. Our second-round defensive end looks like he's going to be our starting left end. And it doesn't really look like much has changed on our defense in terms of starters, besides a couple of signings here and there. So our defense hopefully might play higher than they're rated. And again, this is still before the preseason even starts, so we'll take a look at our offensive and defense again before our first regular season game to see who's actually on the depth chart and where they land. All right, so here's our depth chart after the preseason. I didn't play the preseason games. I just simmed those because there's no point. But it looks like we signed Derek Anderson at quarterback. We cut our 4th string running back. Something happened with Cole Beasley that I'm going to have to go check out because I don't see him on our depth chart. And we signed a new tight end. Everything else on the offense pretty much looks as I was expecting it to look. We didn't really sign anybody new on our offensive line, and then they just cut the 3rd string guys. The defense is pretty much the same as we had just looked at it. Nothing changed pretty much besides the injury to that defensive end rookie. Alright, so it looks like we're going to be without Cole Beasley this year. But if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and come back for our next video, episode 20, which will be our first game of the season.